No, the work I do is, well, it's mediocre. It's not bare minimum. It's not like above and beyond. It's the right amount.
Pretty good amount of work you do there.
There is, and welcome.
Damn it.
And welcome to the Transmit Podcast. Hey, that's fine. I don't blame you for that. Welcome to the Transmit Podcast. I'm your host, Spike.
I'm Victor.
And today we have no real plan, and that's just fine, right?
Yeah, we just got back from Hooley's.
Yeah, Hooley's is really good. They have a really good 10-ounce sirloin.
Oh yeah, you had a sirloin. I did not notice you eating any of the steak.
Really? Because I
You
felt
were
like
shoveling it in your mouth, and I just happened to be looking away every time that you're eating it.
I like the idea that you didn't see me doing it, but you still assume I'm shoveling it in my mouth like some sort of disgusting piece of shit.
Because I saw it was there, and then it wasn't there. All that was left was vegetables.
Well, then I ate a bunch of those vegetables, the green ones especially. Let me tell you, the sautéed mushrooms, oh my God, the sautéed mushrooms, they were actually okay. They were a little lacking of flavor, honestly.
Yeah. I was focusing on myself eating the burger and talking about the Star Trek captains, Kirk and Picard.
Yeah, that was the nerdiest conversation I've had in a while where you were talking like, well, what's your favorite captain? Who's next after that? Who's after that?
Well, yeah, because I feel like Star Trek is actually a little bit, yeah, it is nerdy, right?
Yeah.
But you can look deeper into it to where, basically anyone can evaluate the Star Trek captains and the philosophy of each captain and what they represent.
Yeah, and they all like represent like spirit of adventure, spirit of like with Kirk it's adventure, with Picard it's diplomacy,
Yeah.
with Sisko I'd say there's a lot of religious elements to that.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch much Deep Space Nine, so
It's my favorite one personally, and I think it's the best Trek.
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine is, in my opinion, the best Trek. I think it was you when they were doing like a huge like Sci-Fi Channel like run of it. You wanted to come over and say hi, and I was like, I really want to watch all this Star Trek. So you said, okay, let's go get a burger, and then we left to go get a burger. We had to walk.
Okay.
You convinced me to walk down there. We picked up the burger, and I said, okay, we have to walk back so we can keep watching Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And you're like, no, I want to sit and watch. Like, no, I want to watch fucking Star Trek. So little did I know that they were just planning on running it right up to the point where the Dominion got introduced. Then the marathon was over. Because everything else, they have some good episodes in there, but a lot of that is just kind of, it doesn't really pick up until the Dominion gets there.
Yeah, I don't know what the Dominion is.
They're the big baddie from the Delta Quadrant. Where like we were living in the Alpha Quadrant, Janeway goes to like the Gamma Quadrant, and the Dominion's in the Delta Quadrant.
These are different quadrants of the galaxy?
Yes, different quadrants of our galaxy. I think we're kind of like in between two, like the Alpha and the Beta Quadrant. Mm-hmm. Like, so that's where, and I think it's just a very Starfleet-centric view of that.
Yeah, so, Janeway was, she was traveling a long time in space, wasn't she?
Like an incredibly long time.
9 seasons.
9 seasons.
The whole thing was her trying to get back home.
The last 3 of them were good. And beyond that, though, it was you could have missed that whole thing, honestly.
So I saw the very first episode in the first kind of season of Star Trek Voyager when it came out on UPN.
Oh, God, UPN.
That was the network.
Yeah.
I'm going to need one of those, too.
Here you go.
I kind of don't want to use yours.
A few moments later.
And we're picking back up. We totally lost our... The cat just came through and just destroyed our entire flow.
You're talking about Gamma Quadrants or something.
Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay,
Janeway.
Janeway.
Okay, so I saw the first episode.
You saw the first... Oh, yeah, where they go to Deep Space Nine, actually, first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first episode of...
I don't remember that.
The first episode of Voyager is on Deep Space Nine.
But I know they get flung off into the Gamma Quadrant, right?
Yeah, by the caretaker.
And then they have to make their way back, and it takes exactly 9 seasons.
Exactly 9 seasons.
How did that end? Did they finally get back home?
And they destroyed the Borg and used their hyperspace or their like transwarp tunnels to get home. I forget. It's been a long time. I've seen a few of the later episodes.
And then did they all go back home to their houses and retire and have like?
They do. Some of them are dead. Some of them aren't. But they all. Everyone's pretty much happily ever after. Janeway becomes an admiral because she's the best ever, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So that way.
Did we ever see Janeway's Earth house or Earth apartment?
I don't think so. Let me see here.
Or any of their Earth homes? That'd be dope. I liked that in the Orville,
Yeah.
that we actually get to see this guy's like high-rise apartment.
Right? Yeah, he has an actual, like apartment.
And he walks in and he sees his wife fucking.
Just banging a weird alien. Okay, who is Captain Janeway? Images. It's showing houses, but it's not. It's just Janeway Greenwood. So yeah, no, you don't. There's a picture of Captain Janeway's ship over a cityscape. Does that count?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there was like one apartment, like when they showed a future flash, when in the middle of the show, they're like, oh, and we're all home, and this is the future. But that could have been anyone's. I don't know.
All right, well, that's could have been an interesting topic, but I didn't.
Well, I don't know if Janeway's home was a very interesting topic.
This flashlight looks a lot like a dildo.
Oh god,
you have on your
it really does not.
desk right here.
I mean, in the loosest possible sense, it does.
It looks like a robotic dildo.
Yeah, okay, it looks like a robot cock. This is...
You're handling that shaft really well.
Okay. I'm not going to release this podcast. I already know that now. Oh, my God. I thought we had a good roll going, and you're like, no, I want to just have a regular conversation, but we're going nowhere. We burnt
people are going to enjoy this. You know why? Watch.
Why are they?
I'm going to save it.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it back. I talked about a robot penis,
Yes, you did.
but we're coming back.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say something.
What are you going to say? Oops.
My favorite scene in Star Trek, I was telling you.
Oh, yes, you
earlier. But I can't say it now. I kind of like blew my load during.
Yeah, that's why I saved a bunch of stuff for the show.
But it was basically the scene where Kirk meets Picard in Star Trek for which one was it? Generations.
Yeah.
Star Trek Generations.
Dark Generations.
So that was pretty cool. I liked seeing Captain Kirk, chopping wood in like Montana somewhere. And
Yeah, that was like you said, that was a very un-Star Trek location, seeing that they've been really low on budget until like right then. Because even like in that one, like they just went up to the hills in like Los Angeles and just saw a deserty, rocky place to fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly of diverse biomes they showed. And even when they did in like Next Gen, it was always like a soundstage with a bunch of fake trees.
Yeah.
Very rarely were they okay, we're going to Minnesota to find an actual wooded area.
Yeah. But that was a nice scene. It's taking us back to Captain Kirk's home and his his aesthetic for like his interior design.
Yeah, just got like a continental home where he's making eggs for his wife that he's not going to be able to see. It's just going to push him right back out to like some new area. Yeah. God, that was not one of the better Star Trek movies. I mean, honestly.
No, I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. I didn't like that scene as a kid, but I think it's my favorite Star Trek scene now.
Like that scene, yeah, is kind of cool and touching. But realistically, if you want good Star Trek movies, especially up until the way later ones, just go with the even numbered ones.
Even numbered, huh?
Even numbers, good. Odd numbers, Because remember, you had number 1 was the motionless picture. Number 2 was like the one with the whales, which was great. So I mean, it goes like that basically.
No, number 2 was Khan, Wrath of Khan, right?
It might have been, okay, wait. 2 was Wrath of Khan.
3 was whales.
No, 3 was not whales. 3 was the Klingon played by Doc Brown. Then was the whales.
I think 3 was the whales.
Yeah, no. 3 was not the whales. 3 was the Klingon and you killed my son. I'll never forgive them for the death of my boy. That's what that one was.
That was Christopher Lloyd was a Klingon?
Christopher Lloyd was a Klingon.
Wow.
He was a pretty good Klingon. He had a very solid motivation. Like, okay, this the Genesis Project will just reform all worlds just in one shot, and then there'll be a Federation flag over every home.
You know what my favorite Christopher Lloyd.
What is it?
Christopher Lloyd line is?
What is it?
I was frozen today.
Oh yeah, that's a good line. I think the Nostalgia Critic loves that one.
That was
Urban
from,
Commando or Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando. No, Urban Commando's the new one with The Rock.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Suburban Commando has a different wrestler.
Hulk Hogan.
God, they really.
I hope they actually make an Urban Commando. That would be fun.
That'd be phenomenal. He's played pretty much everything else, The Rock, at this point. He's now just doing...
Might as well do Urban Commando.
Yeah, he's doing the Jungle Tour like movie now. So that's not exactly... he's running out of stuff to do.
There's that recurring scene with the mime in Suburban Commando.
Oh yeah, God, mimes are endlessly capable to be abused, right?
I know that mime is trying to like climb a ladder.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan's like, "Oh, you're trying to climb up the ladder, but there seems to be some sort of issue with like the program or the system or something.
Yeah.
Let me help you." And he grabs him and he throws him up.
Throws him. He like does a skateboard trick and it ends up in orbit.
It's like,
Oh my God.
what is that called when you slap your?
You just clean the dust off. You're just washing your hands of that problem.
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't think there's a real term for that. You made that weird again. Is what you did.
Well, because we're not, we're on a podcast, so I can't.
What can't
I have
you
to
do?
Describe things like they can't see.
What you could just say you dust your hands off.
It didn't come to me immediately.
Oh boy, this is the 41st episode. Just so you know.
Oh really?
And I don't think we've gotten any better. Okay, we've gotten a little better. You pause less. Like I sent you the picture of that first podcast I edited.
Yeah.
And it was like 78% edited out pauses.
As I've said before, it takes me a while to formulate what is appropriate, not appropriate, and what people really want to hear on the podcast, what I can say and what I can't say,
See, that's the problem, is you need to just flow. You need
to flow.
You need to, like, no self-editing mechanism whatsoever.
So I got to be like, even flow. Thoughts arise like butterflies.
Don't go 90s. Don't go 90s. No, that time is over. Stop. I'm turning it down now. There we go. Nice and quiet.
I think I do a pretty good Eddie Vedder.
You do an okay Eddie Vedder. Like, Eddie Vedder does an okay Eddie Vedder.
Wait, is that Eddie Vedder?
Maybe.
Who's Pearl Jam?
Well, look it up. You have a phone?
Oh,
God damn it.
look up who's Pearl Jam. Is that Eddie Vedder?
Hang on.
Was that even a Pearl Jam song that I was saying?
I think so. Maybe.
Who does Even Flow? It's Eddie Vedder's Pearl Jam.
Just chill out. I'm doing it right now. Pearl Jam.
We can't have dead air. I need to keep talking. So
It's Eddie Vedder. I'm gonna cut it out. Just don't worry. It's Eddie Vedder.
Just let it flow. Why do you gotta cut things out? People want to hear that.
Because there's just gonna be a part where neither of us are saying anything. So I'm gonna cut that out.
That's fine.
Yes, that's fine to cut that out.
That happens a lot.
Yes, when me cutting stuff out happens.
No, on actual good podcasts, you'll hear dead moments.
Yeah, but they're not the part where I'm just looking at a phone. There's a part where where the part of the conversation gets to breathe a bit. Not the part where everyone looks down at their devices and looks up different rock and roll stars. So you can trim some of the fat, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, listen, if you want to edit the podcast, go for it.
I think I see the podcasts that I listen to / watch. They don't have cuts like that. They just kind of go, except for the break in the middle of the H3 podcast.
Right. They have their breaks and their stuff like that. Well, and also I just I like to make it a little tighter. And listen, we're only 41 episodes in. I don't think it's time for a behind the scenes on this.
That's what she said.
That is not what she said. Okay, so here, how about this?
What did you want to talk about?
Well,
I still want to do Eddie Vedder impersonation though.
Oh, hey, listen, if you want to come in here on when we're not doing the podcast and just record yourself doing your best Eddie Vedder, I will let you do that.
So one of these days on a Tuesday, I'd be like, I wanted to sing Eddie Vedder into your equipment.
Just give me $10 and it is all you, man.
And then can you edit it so it actually sounds like, it's in the song and everything like that?
I cannot. Well, I mean, listen, I can lay the track of the music under it, but it's going to take a lot of work because you don't know all the words. It's not like you're singing the whole song.
Well, that's the thing that's funny about it. It's I don't know the words.
Okay, then in that case, totally I'll do that. We'll make that happen. So you know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do this. Nope, wrong one. Ah, crap, I messed that up. That's my bad. Nope.
Oh, we're at 15 minutes.
We're doing the news. We're just going to keep this rolling because, dear God, this was a bad idea. I regret this entire decision-making process. All
right, you've got some news
Yes, I do.
Stories.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so Diego the tortoise, who has been responsible for increasing the tortoise population to several thousand, 2,000, over 2,000, is finally retiring.
Okay.
And basically he has been the sex machine of the turtle world, is what is basically was his job for 40 years.
Okay, Diego's got a good job.
Okay, this podcast is over. So I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Transmit Podcast. Oh, we're not? Okay.
That's a good job.
That's a phenomenal job. Okay, so maybe I should carry on this a little more. I hear it looks like he was retired because of dehydration.
Okay, so what is he at a zoo? Does he live?
Yeah,
at
he
a
went
zoo?
back to he used to be at the San Diego Zoo, and then he got loaned out to help provide semen to other tortoises, and now he's back in his homeland of Galapagos to live out his golden years.
Oh, okay. So there's like a whole retirement plan for.
Yes, there's a tortoise retirement plan if you are a over 100-year-old tortoise who is responsible for repopulating the tortoise kind.
So tortoises stay like active, sexually active for a long time, don't they?
Over 100 years, apparently.
That's pretty.
That is a phenomenal job.
Pretty
yes.
amazing, yeah.
Oh man,
He had a good run.
a great run. Diego, listen, Diego has the dream job. Realistically,
Don't you wish that like you lived in like a human zoo and you were responsible for repopulating the human population?
well, that sounds like the beginning of a Black Mirror episode. So no,
You don't want that life.
I do not. That sounds like a sad, empty life. Especially since I'm aware of death and like I need like emotional fulfillment.
Well, they would return you back to Earth. When you were like 60 or 70 or something, and then you would just live out your golden years.
My golden years with no money, just dumped in my homeland.
And aliens fly
There
away.
are a lot of like kinks to that plan. I'm just gonna say that.
And then people are like, "Hey, you were gone for like 30 or 40 years. What were you doing?"
Like, I was having a lot of sex, and now I regret that entire process, seeing I have no retirement plan. Listen, it was fun during.
I think that at least the aliens will give you some cash because they know that's how you survive on Earth.
They throw you a wad of cash and it's like, all right, good luck, buddy. They give you a slap on the ass on the way out. Hey, Tiger, yeah. Here.
And no one would believe your story anyway.
Oh no, they would not.
They'd be like, "Oh yeah, whatever. You're
It's like I helped
fucking
repopulate.
crazy."
I helped repopulate the human species. Like there's 7 billion of us. Oh, wait, why was I doing that then? And there's just some perverted alien smoking a cigarette. It's like, can you believe what we got that idiot to believe? Oh, nanu. Okay, so let's see.
What's the next story?
What's that?
What's the next?
The next story is okay. So Chinese Airlines forced a woman to take a pregnancy test. So she's flying to some northern Mariana. I cannot pronounce that name in Chinese, but she's flying to a group of islands that a lot of Chinese tourists fly to. And in 2018, more tourists there gave birth than non-tourists because they still have very strict birth laws. So basically, they're very sorry, but they still also are forcing people to take pregnancy tests before they let them fly to different countries.
They don't want people giving birth in this country.
Well, not in that country, no. Well, not in that island. I think it's like some way to circumvent their pregnancy laws, I'm guessing.
Oh, the pregnancy laws of China.
Yes, of China. So when I say yes, a Chinese airline forced people to do something,
Yeah.
they're from China.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Obviously, it's they have like move your.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't reaching towards the end song button.
Okay, what's the last story?
The last. Oh well, we're moving right along. Okay, a man registered his beer as a service animal to show how easy it was to register a service animal on a plane.
I was hoping you'd get to the. Okay, we'll get through this one. So.
Oh, we're just gonna get through. You're not gonna. Okay, cool. No, let's make this happen. Okay.
I thought you wanted to. Okay, wait. Well, we'll do it after this.
We'll do
one.
everything. Let's do
We'll
everything.
do it after this story.
Okay.
Okay, what? Repeat that. I wasn't paying attention when you said that.
Okay, a man managed to register a glass of beer,
Uh-huh.
as a service animal so he could take it on a plane.
Okay, let me guess what state this was. It's in America.
It's America. I forget exactly where, but it was just
Probably this state. Probably California.
Brooklyn. Okay, so it was a Brooklyn man who registered his beer as a service animal. Apparently, it was extra easy because it said no training necessary as one of the options. So he just and since you don't need to train beer, he just clicked that and it went through.
Oh.
So weak are we as people that we have to make the service animal like rigmarole incredibly easy to the point where they've had like peacocks, miniature ponies. Someone tried to get like an alligator on that motherfucker. Like they've had a lot of questionable service animals that have slipped through the cracks because of our own weakness.
Wow.
So this guy describes himself as a gorilla in experimental marketing. So I guess like he's basically a comedian who's just like, maybe he doesn't have a good stand-up set, basically.
Oh yeah, maybe he's like this is like the same type of thinking that goes along with that banana installation art.
Yeah, it's the same kind of
Same kind of thing where it's like
except
he's trying to make a point or a
he's
message.
trying to make a point. Except this point is far more poignant because this is something a lot of people have to deal with.
Yeah.
I would pay way more money for that just to know that happened than I would for the banana. So that's my thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, you think this guy's got a better set than the
He's
the
got
banana.
he's got a better like a much more poignant worldview, I think.
He's bringing light to a better issue.
Yeah,
Because at least the art world, like the banana thing, is more like very entrenched in the art world. Like the question is like,
it's inside baseball.
it's like what? Yeah, exactly. It's like, is this art? Is this art? And they keep just making art that
Look at the
questions art.
absurdity of art and the absurdity of our own media. And this guy is like, hey, you notice how a lot of people are doing crazy shit that affects all of us?
Yeah,
Like, look how easy it is to do this. This isn't even an animal. This is alcohol.
yeah.
There's maybe some yeast. That's alive, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think we're going to have to do something about the service animal thing if that's the point where you've gotten to. Like, maybe you shouldn't announce to the world that you're so weak you can't fly, without your little schnauzer.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can't fly, take a bus.
Yeah, well, maybe, maybe in the future, everybody's going to have a service animal.
I hope not.
Like you'll be required to have a service animal or something, or you'll
Required.
You'll be weird. I'm just going crazy with it.
Go nuts with it.
Or it's like in Harry Potter, everyone had a familiar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen.
So it's going to be like that.
If the animal delivered like notes and like had a function beyond, I just don't know how to take a Xanax and half a glass of wine, maybe then.
There was a prediction back in like the 90s. I think it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like 95 or something. They predicted that chimps would be trained to like drive cars and like, clean houses and work as like service creatures.
That sounds like a terrible idea. Like, remember that Oprah chick who's like got her face ripped off?
Yeah.
That's a chimp. It has the ability to literally rip your face off.
So that didn't happen.
Thank God.
But they were thinking like, oh yeah, they're going to be able to train chimps because the mapping of the human genome had come out recently. And they're like, they're going to map a chimp and they're going to give it just enough skills to do things, but not enough skills to be fully like recognized as a human.
Unless you can remove like 3/4 of his strength, I don't want that because that's still like equivalent to a human being. At least I can fight off a human being. Something that can like rip my arm out of its socket. I don't want like just hanging out in my house.
Yeah, and like driving around for you and stuff, and driving you around.
Yeah, exactly. That's like having a very moody, like mid-20s Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Who could, if you make eye contact with him, take it as a threat and murder you.
Well, when you said service animal,
Wait, so yeah,
I figured your perfect one would be a chimp, except with weaker, weak chimp.
Okay, that sounds incredibly racist, but thank you.
Your perfect service animal
is a weak chimp.
Yeah.
God, that sounds like a horrible insult. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so you wanted to talk about something else.
That story with the prison for.
Oh yes, the prison where they could put you in like a coma and you do a 1,000-year sentence in 8 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's some like Matrix shit right there.
So think about that for a second.
The implications are like, because realistically, that's just the one application. Like people are already like saying like, well, this is immoral, but they're not talking about like, well, you could train someone to fly a plane in an afternoon.
I know, it's crazy. Like, if you put someone in prison, my first thought is like, you put them in a prison for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like they're going to come out as like the wisest human being on the planet.
Yeah. Well, especially if you don't put them in like the rape prison, you put them in like a very, like what you idealize a prison to be, where, you do your time, you read books, you reflect, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And since you have like it's all in somebody's mind, there's no budget cuts. It's just, here's all the books. It's going to suck a little bit, but you're going to grow a lot as a person.
Yeah, the only limitations are the designers of the prison program, right?
Yeah, so the first iteration, like anything, like the first video game, is going to suck both in function and its execution. But like as the iterations come out, you're going to have better and better like rehab programs and shit like that.
I know, that's crazy. And then imagine all the skills that like human beings can learn with this technology.
Right?
It would be quite insane.
This is straight out of Inception, honestly, and I really like that because like there's no limit like on time, effectively no limit on time.
Also, Black Mirror. It's Black Mirror.
It can be Black Mirror. Well, Black Mirror could be anything really. It's like what if Bluetooth headphones, but too much is basically.
Well, they did do a Black Mirror on this very subject. It's called White Christmas. If there's any Black Mirror fans listening, you know what's up.
Oh, yeah, they also
White Christmas.
Well, they also did this on The Matrix. So I mean, like, The Matrix did it technically. So.
Oh yeah, they did it with the I Know Kung Fu.
Yeah, basically, and they're all in a mind prison.
Give me your best I Know Kung Fu by your Keanu Reeves impression.
My best Keanu Reeves impression?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh, no, wait. Okay. I'm kind of rusty. That's John Wick. That's John Wick, yeah.
That's pretty
John
good.
Wick. How about the, he doesn't say much in those. That's why I really like it. It's very, he doesn't need to say a lot. You know what he wants and what he's going to do. Okay, wait. I'm just thinking of, what about Point Breaks? Like, trust is earned.
I Know Kung Fu.
Whoa. Okay,
Whoa.
this is this has been done to death already.
Whoa.
We're moving on from that.
69, dude.
Okay, but back to the mind prison thing. So yes, there's a ton of applications, and I think the news headline that's been going around, that's just the one article with the prison cell and like the 1,000-year thing. They're just like doing the far end thing. That's like saying this car does get like 90 miles to the gallon, but that's under these very specific circumstances. And that's the far end of this technology.
Yeah, 1,000 years and 8 hours.
Because
if you do the math, right? 1 hour gives you like, what, 120 years or something?
Hang on. 125 years per hour, basically.
125 years per hour. That's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. Well, the thing is, yeah, and no one's going to be put in there for 1,000 years. If you do a life sentence for something, you're not going to be in there for 1,000 years. You're just going to put a guy in a cell for 1,000 years. Realistically, you're just going to put someone, like, largely it's going to be like people are going to be there like for like a 10-year stint, basically, or a 5-year stint. So you don't waste your life, but you still feel like you've been in there because the perception is still, I have been stuck somewhere for 5 years. And perception is like is the majority of life anyway.
Yeah, but what about the people that actually they don't get life sentences? They actually do get those like you're sentenced to 300 years in prison. That's basically a life sentence,
That
right?
is a life sentence. Well, I think at that point, I'm never a big fan of that because what you need to say is life without parole. You are sentenced to life without parole.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to make sure they never get out. Just have it set up so that when you say life without parole, you just get life without parole. You don't have to do some weird thing with the legal system where you say, okay, I'm giving you 5 25-year sentences to run one after the other, not concurrently. Like, you have to, like, wheedle out the system instead of just having a prescribed treatment for this plan,
Yeah, so, I don't know. If you're getting, 5 25-year sentences or whatever,
Yeah.
that means basically you should be locked up for life. So, if you gave someone for that amount of time and just 8 hours and, you let them go free, you just created, the most intelligent criminal.
Exactly. And that's if, and realistically, how many people do you know would actually do that? Because would everyone do that, or would they just read other kinds of books that don't improve like they're just going to absorb a lot of fiction?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what they do, huh?
Yeah, so there's I think we both know people who would not take advantage of that. So
But yeah, I don't know. There's still the possibility.
there's the possibility that we have the Hollywood thing where we make a Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man, who knows martial arts and hacking and the intricacies of weapons and stuff. But most likely you're just going to have a bunch of idiots who did something stupid, got a 10-year stint, and then went to sleep 5 minutes ago, and then okay, I'm done with my sentence. Yeah, that kind of sucked. It's like, what'd you do the whole time? I read some Harry Potter, I think, somewhere in there. And that'd be kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
All right, look,
Well,
we're about 30-ish minutes. So how about we wrap this up then, huh?
hey, if you're not going to marry it, wrap it up.
Okay, that's actually that's a really good piece of advice. Listen, guys, get married before you have kids. All right. That being said, I'm Spike,
I'm Victor.
and thanks for listening to what I will say is an episode of the Transmit Podcast. Okay,
That was the best one.
the best one. Jesus Christ! If that's the best one, we need to stop.